We just saw Terminator Genisys, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence or looking for a recommendation, you can watch this video, not hear any spoilers, but find out whether we like the movie or not. And if you do want to hear the spoiler version, look for the video titled Terminator Genisys Movie Discussion with Spoilers. Arnold Schwarzenegger's back in a new installment of the Terminator franchise. This movie is, if you've seen the trailers and things like that, it has recast a lot of the characters because it goes back and resets a lot of the timeline. It's sort of an alternate version of the Terminator, kind of a soft reboot because they do keep Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same role. But things have changed, things are different. My review is, I'm really mixed on this. This is something that I'm really going to have to think about as far as whether I personally like the film or not. I think as a fan of the series, someone that likes the Terminator movies, I think you'll have a great time at this. I think it's a good alternate timeline version of the Terminator. It takes a lot of things that you think you know and turns them on their head. It incorporates a lot of ideas that, like for me, there were things that happened in this that I thought, well, why didn't they do this in Terminator 2 when I watched Terminator 2? And now I'm watching this and like they've adapted some of those ideas into this movie. There's some stuff that doesn't make sense, but that's not out of place for a Terminator movie. It's not out of place for any kind of a time travel based storyline. So there's stuff that's weird and doesn't make sense. I had heard really, really bad things about the technical side of things, especially the CGI effects. I'd heard that they were really poorly done, particularly the young version of Arnold Schwarzenegger that they created CGI. I honestly had no problem with him. We saw this in IMAX 3D. That might make some difference, but I honestly thought that he looked, the technology was right there with where the best movies are right now. So none of that really bothered me. I would recommend it if you are a fan of the Terminator movies, but I would say, if you've not seen any of them before, and this becomes the first one that you see, in a way, I think that's going to really disappoint you when you watch the other ones. And what I mean by that is, this is a high-budget movie. The original Terminator is a very low-budget movie. It's a very quiet 80s-style movie. Terminator 2 was a groundbreaking special effects movie in the 90s, and it's considered by many to be one of the best action movies ever made. And it's aged pretty well, but for modern audiences, this might be a better entry point into the Terminator universe. So, for someone my age, I've seen all of the other Terminator movies already, and it's like, it's not my Terminator, but it's a Terminator, and that's cool. It's nice to see Arnold Schwarzenegger back in it. It's nice to see a story that isn't completely disposable, like Terminator 3's story is. That movie might as well have not happened. Terminator Salvation may as well have not happened, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, I think as far as a recommendation goes, I think if it seems like a movie you want to see, if it seems like something that's interesting to you, I would recommend it. And if you're a Terminator fan, I would recommend it. So, what do you guys think?
I'm mixed about it as well. It wasn't a movie that I could sit through and I wasn't hooked. I wasn't automatically drawn to it.
It didn't draw you in.
It was a movie that, to me, because I've only seen like the first Terminator and maybe clips of the second one, so I'm not like a complete Terminator fan.
Sure.
So it seemed really choppy. I don't feel like the story was completely thorough. I mean, I feel like they left out some parts. Some parts they could have done a little bit more, elaborated a little bit more on.
I can see that because, and this is one of the things that I'm challenged on one of the questions that I have after watching the movie, which is, if you don't know your Terminator history, can you follow this movie?
I
don't
couldn't.
think so.
I don't think you can.
I couldn't.
This movie doesn't stand on its own.
No.
Without the prior Terminator history, it just doesn't work.
I will say definitely the original Terminator is very important to know in order to understand this film. The rest of them you can kind of forget about.
True.
I mean, I've seen the first one, but I still...
But like all
I
of the
still
stuff,
felt like things were choppy.
this movie is, it's basically Terminator 1 and 2 remixed.
Very much
And I think Terminator 2 is pretty important. Because if she's saying she saw Terminator 1 and
Yeah,
she was lost.
I saw 2 as well, but it was so long ago. It's not...
I understand.
I don't know.
2's important to establish the Terminator as the Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
the T-1000, like, how that works, like, in general.
Yeah.
Because they don't give you any real backstory on the different models of Terminators and what their powers are or anything
Yeah,
like
they
that.
just show up.
They just show up and they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think you're right. I think that as an entry point, this is not...
This wouldn't be a movie I would recommend if you haven't seen the previous ones, because you're not going to be able to follow it.
Well, and I think 1 and 2 are the necessary
Yeah.
prequels. I think 3 and Salvation you can skip and still enjoy this, still understand it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what'd you think?
I liked it. Well, I mean, not... Okay, so I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it.
Yeah, I did too.
I too thought that special effects were going to be cheesy, and bits of the trailer made me think that, but, like, the actual film itself is actually pretty good looking. And I thought the opening and the beginning part was really strong. At somewhere around the halfway mark, it kind of got very kind of messy story-wise, and a lot of the paradoxical nature of, different timelines and stuff always bogs down, at some point, because you start asking yourself, like, well, wait a minute,
Right.
So that got very, very messy, but as an action film, I thought it was good. So, it had the usual kind of moments and stuff. What it did make me very impressed about was how good Terminator 2 was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 1992, and honestly, this movie in 2015 doesn't really do anything better except the usual special effects.
Like, the effects are 10% better than Terminator 2.
It's just clear.
But we're talking 23 years later?
That's how revolutionary that
Not
movie
a whole
was.
lot to say for 23 years compared to how good that was in 92.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
like, wow,
Also-
James Cameron,
Yeah, you're also, pointing out a movie by James Cameron who's pretty much always at the top of this game.
Right. Avatar would kick this movie in the ass.
Yeah.
No
over
question.
and over and over again.
Right.
But
Well, I could say I thought this movie was the most fun a Terminator movie has been, I think.
That's true. I'd agree with that.
It had me going for the entire thing. I was locked in because I was a fan of the original. I'm not as much of a fan of the second one, only because of the kid actors. Let's be honest. That's the reason I don't like the second one. But I did enjoy the other things that are connected to the universe, Sarah Connor Chronicles, stuff like that. I'm not as keen on the cast of Sarah and Kyle. I think they nailed John Connor, and I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger being there. He was fun. It is weird to not be so bleak. Terminator is a kind of bleak series.
Yeah, I thought that during the opening. I was like, oh, this is like the happy version of Judgment Day.
Oh,
Like,
during the
you
opening?
think about the opening of Terminator 2
Oh, God, yeah.
in
Oh.
comparison.
Okay, yeah,
Jesus Christ.
There's human skulls being crushed by tanks, and you got a point
Well, I mean,
there.
You see people being burned by fallout.
Yeah.
It's an R-rated movie.
Oh, okay, you have a point there.
Yeah. I really don't think this movie, like I said, stands on its own. And outside of two people, the characters really didn't work. Sarah Connor was annoying. Kyle Reese was annoying. Arnold Schwarzenegger was probably the best part of this movie, and he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
The guy who played John Connor
Jason Clarke.
absolutely killed. I mean,
he
he did a great job.
I like him in pretty much everything I've seen him in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all in all, outside of being a fun action movie, it's not a great movie. And you might even say it's not even a good movie. It's just
Apart from the
dumb
nostalgia stuff, there's not a whole lot that
There's no
is
meat
on
and
its
potatoes in this. It's just sides. Like,
own. Right.
there's not. I mean, I know that there's a main story and I get that, but I just don't feel like it weighed heavy enough for me to be like, ooh, okay, let me pay attention to this.
Well, it leans so
Let me-
heavily on the other movies.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it just hyped me. I think going into it, I was like, okay, it's gonna be like a Terminator movie. I've seen the first one. Maybe I think I've seen half of the second one, but like,
So would we be
I feel like it was kind of a letdown
Will we be
because I
happier-
haven't followed the trilogy.
would we be happier if it wasn't so spoiled by trailers?
No, no.
That didn't affect me at all. I don't think the
Okay.
trailers affected me. I guess I'm just indifferent on it.
No,
I
I mean, we'll talk about spoilers in the other video, but yeah, it really comes down to,
had to follow it.
yeah, and how well it sets up, like, if Jason Clarke is the only character that we liked that of the new cast, because Jai Courtney was fine, and Amelia Clarke what's her name? Amelia Clarke.
Which I thought she was okay. I mean, there was certain
I did
moments
too.
I thought were very eerily like, what's her name, Linda Hamilton?
I thought, yeah,
Just moments were like, whoa, that's...
I thought she did a good job of aping like a young Linda Hamilton version of Sarah Connor. I thought it worked, but I thought that because she's younger and because of her role in the story in this one, she just came across as uncooperative for no reason in a lot of cases. But that's true of Kyle Reese too. Like, they were both just sort of whiny jerks to each other and to people around them. Like, stop asking questions, do what you're told, kind of thing. Like, there's people that know more than you, kind of thing. They just had a lot of arguments that were like,
Unnecessary.
please stop having this argument. Like, we don't need to know this. We don't need to see this. You're gonna do it. Stop
do it.
Stop complaining about it. Just like there's gonna be another Terminator movie. They're gonna do it.
Oh,
Just stop.
it's gonna happen.
Just
You're
stop
right.
pretending you're not.
If I could be Arnold Schwarzenegger and get that job, what am I doing today? Just showing up?
Well, yeah, we'll get into that in the spoilers. What I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to be doing next. So that's our review. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and check out all the written video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.